Friday, May 29th, 6th period, the last time we have to talk to each other. See, to cover information with you guys as quickly and as much as I can, because I think we're going to get called down at 5 till, but I might have until all the way until 2 o'clock. It just sort of depends on when they decide to make the announcement, so we'll have to sort of find out from there. So regardless, you do get to see me for like the whole next hour. So you have that. It just won't be at our cozy little group like this. It'll be our cozy group of 180 people. And 180 people is obviously cozy. Along those same lines, I had a kid ask me for my notes that I used yesterday. And I went through and did all the talkings. I didn't get to cover all the information. So since I didn't want to give my notes up, I decided to instead, I'm going to send them out on Remind, and I'll post them to my website if you want them for whatever reason, because some kids enjoyed reading them, so I figured, why not? So if you're on my Remind, I'll send it out as a PDF, and then you can just download it and look at it that way. If you don't want it, that's fine also. You're more than welcome to ignore it, and we can move on with our lives from there. My other classes, I was able to do stories, and I gave them choices between uplifting stories and not so uplifting stories. Either ones where you got to laugh at me. I did my first fight, my only fight. It's not like a rest where I had multiple ones. I just had one fight. It was in 8th grade football. And so I had classes choose that, and then last class period chose the other option, which was feels. And so I got to sort of continue the same talk from yesterday, which was a bit more emotional, but hopefully not quite as bad, but we'll see. For you guys, we're sort of in a tight spot because I don't have a whole lot of time, and I don't want to get into the middle of a story and then not know where to go with it from there. But stuff I wanted to pass along to you before I get a chance to not, since this is my last time talking to you guys as a group, was to say thank you. Honestly, and from my heart, thank you. It's been a good year, not just overall for me, but teaching-wise. It's been a good year. I had good kids, and it makes a big difference teaching-wise when I have good kids. Overall, team-wise, even though we didn't win a single charge or challenge, and I try not to let that make me cry myself to sleep at night, overall, you guys were really good, and of those really good ones, you guys were a really good class for me. And I told my first period the same thing. I had some tough class periods this year, and I've had really bad advanced classes in the past. I always thought that advanced classes would be really good, and they'd be the easy ones, but that's not always the way it works out. I've had advanced classes that talk too much, don't know when to shut up, and drive me nuts. I've had advanced classes that are mean, and they attack each other, which has been a problem in the past too. Just so you know, we're leaving for the awards ceremony in just a couple minutes. But you two I trust, so you're fine. And I've had advanced classes that were not good kids. But that wasn't the issue this year, in either first period or for you guys. And I've tried to be honest with my classes to let them know when they have problems and when they don't. And I've told my 5th period that they're a good class, but they drove me nuts at times. And I've told my 7th period that they've stressed me out this year, but there's good kids that are in there. And you guys were in a tough spot for me, time-wise, because I went from one tough class to another tough class. So you guys were in a I want to strangle kids sandwich, which puts you guys in a rough area, and you guys were a bright spot for me. And I really appreciate that, because that comes as a group. Overall, it's not something that just happens individually. Doyle, just so you know, we're leaving to go down to the awards ceremony in just a moment. So,
I'll stay for that.
all right. So, for the most part, when the other kids knock, you'll just have to tell them, just open it up, and I'll just tell them no. Just the other kids might not be ones that I don't trust as much, and I don't want to have to be mean to them.
Wait, you don't trust Seth?
No. He's not honor society.
I wouldn't.
I like Seth. There's a difference. You're gonna know there's a difference between liking you and trusting you. And there's kids I like, but that doesn't mean I trust you. Trusting you is when I'll leave you in my room when I'm not here. And that's trust. And that goes way beyond liking. And that should be the same thing for you. That shouldn't be news for you. That there should be a difference for you also between people you like and people that you trust. And so there's lots of my students that I get along with and I'm very friendly with, but I'm not going to trust them in my room by themselves. Reby over here was my student of the year last year, and then Doyle, I don't think, frowned the entire time I had her in class. And Carson was not a hero. You were a star, right, dear?
Yeah.
Yeah, and stars don't know how to be evil. And so it makes things, I'm just kidding, you're evil, I've seen you play soccer. Yeah, and I played hand-foot softball against you, you body checked me more than once, but your heart's full of good, so I can see the difference. But back to you guys, and not my random 8th graders that I like. It puts you guys in a tough spot, and so I appreciate you guys working together to make my life easier. Because I know it's not something you always think about, that teachers are humans. It's easy to imagine us as just adults that are in the front of the room, and the fact that we're professional, and the fact that we're old, and the fact that we don't have emotions, but that's not the way it works. Every teacher, when they're in front of the room, is human, and your behavior hurts or helps us. Makes our day easier, or makes us want to go home and cry. And for you guys this year, you made my life easier. Given there were times when I wanted to strangle some of you individually, but that's different than as a group. And that meant a lot to me this year. And I'm going to miss you guys as a group. And I'm going to miss a lot of you guys individually, because I've taught long enough now to know that I need to cherish and enjoy my good classes, because they don't always come along. And you guys were a really good class. So thank you for doing that for me. In the future, think about that. The kid that you were for me this year, the kid that you were as part of this class, and make that your present to future teachers, to bring this kid to other classes. And the other thing I want to hit on, when I was signing 20-some yearbooks last night, and I don't want to make that sound like it's a bad thing, because I find that absolutely astounding that I had over 20 kids send yearbooks home with me last night to go and sign and write messages in. Because once again, that's not something I grew up with. That's not an experience that I got to go through. But it was in the signing of these yearbooks, I realized and it was, because I had a big chunk of them from this class too, that a lot of what I wrote in some of your notebooks or your yearbooks was to lead and to speak up and to stop letting other people control the classroom. And I don't just mean in this room, because I see you guys in other classes and I talk to other teachers. And when you're a good person, being a good person isn't always enough. And that's why we have the Honor Society. But when I tell you that I see leadership in you, and when I tell you that you should speak up, I'm telling you that from 16 years of experience, that you need to speak up, that you need to see yourself as the leader that I see you as, and stop holding yourself back. Because if you continue to hold yourself back, there's no one else that's going to push you. Teachers can tell you how much they believe in you. They can tell you how much of a good person you are, and they can tell you what they think you should do, but only one person gets to make that choice. And after a while, you have to let those words go to heart. If you have enough people who keep telling you that you should be a leader, and the fact that they have faith in you, and these are people that you respect, and these are people that you trust, then that means something. And it means you need to become that person. And you need to stop holding yourself back. Because there's a lot of bad people in the world. There's a lot of bad kids that are out there that dominate classes that shouldn't, whose personalities are the strongest one in the classroom, and they shouldn't be. And the only reason that those kids are the strongest personality in the classroom is because you allow it. And you allow it because of fear. You're afraid of what others are going to say. You're afraid of what others are going to do. And you shouldn't be. This morning during field day, I danced on a stage wearing blue socks with ponies on them and a fish tie with shaving cream still smeared on me. And I was horrible. I'm not a good dancer. And I in no way let that stop me when I was up there. And so what that is That's fine. They're my kids. They can come in. Is that becomes your motivation. If I don't let something like that stop me, and I'm dancing in front of my peers, and I'm dancing in front of other teachers, and I'm dancing in front of my students, what's stopping you from just standing up and giving your opinion? From standing up and showing the side of yourself that everyone that loves you and believes in you tells you is out there? Nothing. What's the worst that happens? Someone laughs at you? Someone makes fun of you? So what? I get made fun of all the time. I have people laugh at me all the time. All it does is make me stronger. You do the same thing. Use that to become stronger. Use that to become the person that you want to be. Yeah, put it on my desk, kiddo. I won't get a chance to sign it until after school. So you want to come back next week or send me an email?
Yeah.
That'd be fine. Thanks.
Thank you.
Have fun next year. So that's what I send you guys off with. Each class is a little bit different. And for you guys, that's what I see. Because what hurts me in this class is that I know I don't get to talk to a lot of you guys next year. My kids who stay here, I get to help lead you with Honor Society. I get to bring some of you guys back to my classroom. I still get to talk to you. But those of you who are leaving, I don't get to see you unless you choose to come see me. I don't get to control that. That's something only you get to control. And so, for you, it's a bit more final. I like teaching 7th grade because of the fact it's not 8th grade. I couldn't do 8th grade emotionally. Teaching a class, getting attached to kids, and then just having them disappear and be gone, I don't think I can handle that. It's not how I'm built. So that's why I teach 7th grade, because I get to see you guys again, and I get to continue to shape you, and I get to continue to be part of your life, and I get to deal with the issue of trying to talk to you while past students keep coming into my room. That's a good problem to have. That's a problem that any number of teachers in this building would kill to have, and I fully understand that, and I fully appreciate it. So, the message I get to leave you with, especially those of you who are leaving my building and not coming back, is the next time you see me, bring me good news. Tell me about the person you become. Tell me about how, no, sorry, it's not happening. Rainbows. You don't have to come back and tell me bad news. Stop it. You can come back and tell me happy news. Because I have kids who think they can't come back and talk to me because their lives aren't bad. And they think that they can't share their lives with me because only the bad kids come back. And that's not the way it is. I need good kids too. I need the good kids to come back and tell me about how my talks went to their heart and how they made the good choices and how they became the person I wanted them to become. And I need those kids to come back and talk to me because it gives me the strength to support the other kids. Because those other kids take a lot out of me and they take a lot of my strength. And if you are one of those other kids, I'm happy to give you that strength. But I don't want you to think that you can't come to me just because you have that happy place. So if you're in that happy place, make your place happier. Do those things that I've asked you to do and come back and tell me about them. And let me be proud of you. And I think...
Okay, Mrs. Kearns just wanted me to see if you were here. So, I don't know.
Because we're getting ready to leave.
Okay.
So tell her we're getting ready to take off in like a minute.
Okay.
Okay. Because we're getting ready to take off in a minute. So pull yourselves together. Happy thoughts? Because we're going to go down and see a whole bunch of other people. And there's going to be parents there. And the last thing I want them to think is that I was in here beating children. Because I do that enough on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. You can leave your stuff here if you want. I'm not getting rid of it. We will be dismissed from there. And when we get... I should probably stop recording.